Hi, I'm Justin Lyndley. I'm a tutor at Point Blank. I teach the sound engineering course and the art of mixing course. In my career, I've worked with many artists as diverse as the Klaxons and Block Party and Elvis Costello and Lily Allen. Many different major labels I've worked on. I also produced my own music on a label called Wall of Sound for many years. The earliest I can remember sort of being really aware of like getting into music was actually just watching Top of the Pops, like watching music on television when I was a kid, which you know, was I suppose like late 70s and things, which was quite a weird time for music because there was all the usual pop things and then there started being all these kind of punky, new wavy kind of guitar bands, which was like, it's quite interesting because I was always kind of grabbed by things that were different, you know, and it was kind of like a new sort of energy from anything I'd sort of come across before. I got a guitar when I was like 7 and kind of, you know, wanted to learn at that point, but my folks sent me to classical guitar lessons, which really wasn't what I meant. I wanted to kind of make some noise and strum some chords and that sort of thing. I was really fascinated by records. So even though I was kind of playing in bands, I was really intrigued by like trying to actually record stuff. And obviously that was hopeless when I was kind of like a teenager or whatever and didn't really have any gear. But that fascination of like, how do you actually get something from like being something making a noise, whether that's a synth or a bunch of people playing in a room, how do you make that sound like these things I was hearing, you know, sticking on a vinyl record and going, wow, you know, that was the sort of fascination somehow. From being young, I played guitar and then I became a bass player a little bit by accident because everyone always needed bass players, so I became a bass player. I did get classical guitar lessons when I was a kid, but I didn't like it, but at least it gave me a bit of technique, so when I was teaching myself to play sort of punky guitar later, I could, you know, press my fingers in the right place and that kind of thing. And then the recording thing was much later. I did do a very short course at a place in Sheffield, but in retrospect it was pretty rubbish, to be honest. And then got work in studios, like being a studio engineer became my day job, my way of sort of paying the rent and all that kind of thing. And I was thrown in very much at the deep end. It was quite common for people to have quite long apprenticeships where maybe there'd be like you know, the T-boy and the tape op and the assistant for years and years and years, and I assisted for about 2 weeks and then got thrown in being the engineer on sessions. Working out for yourself is quite long and slow, actually. Again, probably one of the reasons why it's useful for people to come on courses. You can get a lot of information much more focused and much quicker. Well, I certainly enjoy teaching mixing because I think for a lot of people, regardless of what genre of music they're making, that's the kind of like, how do I actually then get it to sound like a record? Obviously you have to get all the stages right, which is, you know, something that you can very much learn here from like choosing the right sounds, recording things well, putting it all together. Because we only ever get to hear finished, mixed, mastered records, don't we? And then, you know, to compare with that, it's that point at which you actually get to see, can your thing compare with other people's mastered, finished records, you know? So I certainly enjoy that aspect of it. It's a big deal for everybody making music to get it to sound finished. I think there's a lot of like confusion, like in that there's so many things out there, you know, there's a billion YouTube videos and there's all this information around, but it's really not very focused. I think this thing of being able to actually have somebody kind of put it together or show you how to put it together in a sort of focused and directional way, I think that's really valuable. Otherwise it's a lot of very random information that, you know, to actually kind of make a sort of workflow out of. It's like, well, where would you start with that? You know, even if you were just thinking about mixing or something, you know, there's a million videos you could watch, or you could watch Pensado's Place or all these things, but it's quite a confusion of information. So I really think, yeah, that kind of thing of actually being able to kind of put it together in a sane order and get some results at the end of the day. It's very practical here. I think there's a lot of courses that teach a lot of technical things, but not really how to make a record sound good. I think that's something that Point Blank very much offers, is how to actually get good results. I hope that people really carry on innovating. I mean, we've got to a point where the tools are available, you know, within a laptop to do everything sonically. But I think once everybody sort of gets used to that and gets used to sort of having everything there and everything becomes your known toolkit, then you can be more creative again.